Hello there, welcome back. Milos here again, talking about SAP EWM, of course, SAP technology, and today we're gonna deep dive into the execution of a warehouse order, and we're gonna check how the warehouse order is assigned to the resource. The key part, a very important step. Let's have a look directly in the system, and I'm just gonna breeze through a lot of information today. We're going to talk about resources, queues, assignment of the warehouse orders to a specific resource, the execution of a warehouse order. So some people told me, Milos, your videos are cool, but they're a little bit too long. You should do them shorter. You know, we don't have all the time. So I'm wondering if you think these videos are too long, too short, or just right. Put a comment right now. Let me know. I'll try stick to the basics here and just go through the execution, and if some parts are missing, just feel free to add a comment. So too long, too short, or the videos are just the right length, let me know and I'll try adapt to match your needs. All right, let's jump into the monitor now. Let's execute one of the warehouse orders waiting for us. We're back to SAP. Let's enter the monitor. Let's search for warehouse orders to be completed. Of course, I could go to the warehouse orders here. I could tick off all the statuses that I'm not interested in and only get the open warehouse orders. And I can find one, the warehouse order 516. But if I need to execute this in RF, if indeed Milos is the shift lead and Tom is the warehouse operator on the floor who needs to execute, maybe, just maybe, I want to manage the workload of my team in RF and have visibility who has the most workload, who needs to work on what. How do I do that? In the monitor, I would go to resource management, and in the resource management, one way I like to do this is to check the amount of work that needs to be done per queue. Remember, the queue is grouping warehouse orders together in a list of things to do within a specific queue. In this system, let's see which queues have been defined and let's try find some logical sense. I double click on the queues, I'll select all the queues, and I'm going to search for everything. And as I search for everything, I see that I have 3 different queues defined in this warehouse number KT01. We have inbound, the goods receipt queue it's called, the internal for internal movements, and the outbound for goods issue queue. Okay, so it seems like inbound activities are in one queue, internal activities in another queue, and outbound activities in another queue. This is a typical setup of a training environment. In a real warehouse, probably you want to also organize your activities per area, per space. So maybe if you have inbound activities on a group of doors and inbound activities in another group of doors in a different part of the warehouse, you might want to separate those two and give them two different queues and different names. All right, just to give you an example. But in this system, we have 3 queues, inbound, internal, outbound. And also here we can immediately see that we have actually 1 warehouse order to be completed in the internal queue, while we have 0 warehouse orders, open warehouse orders, to be completed in the inbound and the outbound. So very little work to do for us. I will be completing this one. And also, look here, we actually have 1 active resource in the inbound queue, 2 active resources in the internal queue, and 14 active resources in the outbound queue. Again, this is a training environment. If this was a real warehouse, I would say we're really not organized. We have very little work to do, but 14 people are working on 0 things. 1 resource is working on 0 things, and 2 resources are working on only 1 warehouse order. We need more work, and we need less people. Maybe we can release some of them, give them some days off. These are costs that someone will need to be paying for. This is business mentality, right? Shifting the team size based on the workload we have. All right, so what could we do here? Well, first of all, I think I'm gonna log off this 1 and 14. Maybe it's someone else in the system, but I think it's just old stuff, people who stayed logged in. I can actually select inbound. I can check which resources are currently working here. I see this is a resource GR11, SAP user, S4 user 11. He is executing now something in RF. And but since there's no warehouse orders, I don't believe they're really executing anything. So what I will do now is I will simply log them off, and I can do that with the actions. More methods, log off from resource. I'm going to click log off, and off we go. They're out. Refreshing the queues, you can see that 0 active resources are logged into the queue. I logged off the person from RF, so I literally logged them off. They're gonna see on their screen in their device that they've been logged off. Okay. All right. So very cool, powerful tools in the monitor as usual. What I will do here, this is the internal queue. Let me just check the warehouse order that is inside. So you see, this is the warehouse order 516. And I know for a fact that no one is currently working on this. How do I know that? Because there's no resource in the resource field of the warehouse order. The moment someone starts working on this warehouse order, the corresponding resource will be mapped here. And also the creation, not the creation, the start date and the start time should be triggered. So what I will do now is I will log into the RF environment. I will use my own resource, and I will select this warehouse order 516. I will show you I can select the warehouse order by manually inputting the warehouse order number, or I can also select the warehouse order, or better, let the system give me the warehouse order based on the queue. Since this is the only warehouse order in the queue, clearly, if I select to work in the queue internal, the system will give me this warehouse order. Let's have a look. I'm going to open a new session. I have it here. Great. New session. I want to do RF simulation. The RF simulation transaction is right here in the execution folder, /SCWM/RFUI. Double click on RFUI. Oh, great. My user, my SAP user, is already linked to the warehouse number KT01. That's correct. That's my warehouse where I want to work. To a resource called MJ-FRKL01, so forklift 01. And there's a default presentation device, PR00. This is basically deciding how big the screen is, how the RF transaction will be represented. I'm happy with all this. Of course, there's much more to say. Maybe I can do more videos on RF. Let me know if you want an RF video. Put RF in the comments. And let's just jump in and try execute the warehouse order that's waiting for us. Great. This is the standard RF menu. There's nothing custom here as far as I see. And one way to select our warehouse order is through manual selection. So if you as a warehouse operator want to select a specific warehouse order to execute, you can use manual selection here. Select by warehouse order, and the system will ask you what's the warehouse order you want to work on. And I would need to go, let me go and check what was the warehouse order number, 516. So I would go back to RF, I would type in 516, I would press enter, and I will be giving the first screen to execute the warehouse order. Okay, I'm going to press F7 now, since I don't want to select manually, because manual selection, let's be frank, in real life, manually selecting the warehouse order is not the best approach. It means you need to type in. You might make a mistake as you're typing in. So it's way better to let the system decide for you what's the best warehouse order, as long as you organize the entire RF framework and your activities in the right way. So what I'm going to do is, instead of selecting manually the warehouse order I want to execute, I will select the queue I want to work in, the internal queue, and I will let the system assign to me the right warehouse order, and that's going to be this one because it's the only one in the queue. Let's go back. You go back in RF with F7, so pressing F7. I'm back. I'm going to press F7 once again to exit the manual selection, F7. I'm back to the main menu, and here I'm going to go to System Guided by queue, and the queue I want to work in is internal. Enter, enter, and here I am again, warehouse order 516. Now that we are starting to execute this warehouse order, we can also have a look if anything changed here just yet. I'm gonna refresh the queues. Oh well, first thing that changes, the active resources went up from 2 to 3. It means there's one more resource working in this queue, and guess who that is? It's me. All right, and we can see my resource actually. If we click the resources, we can see that I have the MJ forklift 01. My SAP user is S4 user 13. You can see it also here in my SAP user. And I think that's all good. I'm executing in a ref clearly. I think we're ready to check the warehouse orders as well. If I check the warehouse order, there's only one. The status is D. Watch out. What does D mean? D means in process, because Milos is currently executing this warehouse order. And also you can check that some of the date times, so selecting warehouse order, selecting form view so I can see better, you can see that the processor is S4 user 13, the resource is MJ forklift 01. We have a start date. Today is the 12th of January 2025. The time of the system, fine. And yeah, it was changed by me. Clearly, I updated this warehouse order in order to track that I started working on it. This is all correct. And as I go here, let's actually execute this warehouse order. So I'm going to go next. I'm not going to create any PKQ. This should be a single task and a single movement of product from one bin to another. I'm just going to go next, and I'm going to confirm whatever the system is asking me to confirm. So in this case, again, it's a training system, so it's going to ask a lot of information. It's going to ask me to confirm the bin. So I'm going to simulate the scan of the bin. I'm going to copy scrap, and I'm going to scan here the scrap information. So I'm going to paste scrap, and I'm going to press enter, because remember, with the RF gun, every time you scan something, it reads and it auto presses enter. So the best way to simulate in RF is to copy, paste, and press enter. So let's press enter. We scan the source bin, it's all good. There's no source HU, enter. We scan the product, the KT material, enter. And we have the available quantity, we're gonna put 2. And there's no destination HU, it's just moving product without source and destination HUs. Press enter. And now I'm on the next screen. And on the next screen, I need to confirm that I'm taking these 2 kilos and I'm putting them into the destination bin ST0001010014. So I'm going to confirm the destination data the exact same way. Copy, paste, enter, confirming destination bin. Product, copy, paste, enter, and confirming I'm moving 2 kilos. 2, enter. Guess what? Next message is suitable warehouse orders were not found, meaning the EWM system tried to assign me the next warehouse order belonging to the queue internal to be executed. But remember, there was only one warehouse order in the queue, and therefore once I complete the warehouse order, there's no other warehouse order ready to be executed, and therefore the system is saying, hey Milos, there's nothing else to do, so you can go do something else, but no other warehouse order in the internal queue is available for your execution. Let's have a look in the monitor if indeed the warehouse order is now completed. As I refresh, let's remember the warehouse order, it's 516. And I say let's remember because it's going to disappear from here, I expect, since it's executed now. 516 is our warehouse order number. Refreshing. Oops, there's no open warehouse order. So if I search now in warehouse orders number 516, and I select all the possible statuses for the warehouse order since I expect it to be confirmed, and I search, I can see that the status of the warehouse order 516 is a C, and C means confirmed. Great. Okay, so I of course did not share all the details. There's a lot more happening in the background as we move through the execution. Maybe you want to see it next time, maybe to see also the status of the task, or also see where the stock is once I start confirming. Is it in the source bin, in the destination bin? What happens during the execution? If you want to know more details like this, maybe I can make a series of videos on the warehouse tasks. Let me know, and yeah, I'll see you soon in the next video, maybe also talking about RF. Speak soon. Bye.